Hi guys, and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be looking at estimating. Now, what is estimating? Well, an estimate is where we simplify numbers, normally by rounding them, so we make the numbers a little bit easier, and that's normally by rounding them. And then we can add, subtract, multiply or divide those numbers together to get an estimate, a rough idea of what we will get. It's really useful if you go shopping. So you walk around and you do your shopping. Instead of trying to add up like £1.29 plus 99p plus £2.37, all numbers that are tricky, you might just go, well, £1.29, we'll call that a pound, the 99p we'll call that a pound, and the £2.50 we'll call that £3. So everything's going to roughly estimate be £5, and it wouldn't be too far away, and that can give us a rough idea. So estimating is really quite important and can help us in lots of ways, and as I've said before, it really does use rounding. So steps to success, as I've said, it uses rounding. I can round the two numbers in the number sentence. The first thing you'll do when you're doing an estimate is you'll do some rounding. You'll make the numbers a little bit easier to add, subtract, multiply or divide just by rounding them to either the nearest 10, the nearest 100 or the nearest 1,000, okay? And that will then help you, add or subtract or whatever when you do that, okay? So once you've rounded them, your next step is you rewrite the number sentence using the numbers I've rounded, yeah? Then once you've got that all written down, you can then complete it by adding, subtracting or multiplying or whatever the number sentence is asking you to do. So let's have a look at an example here. So here I've got 47 times 12. So first job is rounding. So let's do some rounding. So I'm rounding to the tens. So this is what I'm rounding. So the 7 is going to tell me which way I'm rounding, isn't it? The 7 can tell me. So I'm either going to be rounding down to 40 or up to 50. Now that 7 is above 5, so that means I round up. So this becomes 50. Now here I'm either going to be rounding down to 10 or up to 20. So this is where I'm rounding to. So this is going to tell me where I'm rounding. So it's either going to be down to 10 or up to 20. Now, if it's a 2, that means it's 4 or below. So I round down. So it will be 10. So I've done the first bit. So now I write in the number sentence and then I can complete it. So you've got 50 times 10. Now I know that's that's nice and easy, isn't it? So there you go, and that's my estimate. And that gives me a reasonable idea. I can also use this to check my answers are reasonable. Remember we talked about that when we were doing adding and subtracting. So I can also use estimating to check that my answers aren't, ridiculous or silly, that they make sense. They're in the right kind of what we call ballpark. Okay, we're going to be rounding to the hundreds. So we're going to be estimating these two 3-digit numbers, okay? So let's do the rounding. So here I'm either going to be rounding down to 200 or I'm going to be rounding up to 300. This is what I'm rounding. So this is going to tell me what I need to do. So it's 3, isn't it? So that means I'll be rounding down to 200. Okay, and here we've got 7. So that's what I'm rounding to. So this is going to tell me which way I'm rounding, and it's either going to be 700 or 800. Now 6 is above 5, so that means I must be rounding up. So that means I'll be going up to the 800. Then, second step, write that in, and I can add them together. 200, that would be 1,000. Okay, and that's my estimate. That's my rough guess. And if I added these numbers together, it really wouldn't be that far from 1,000. So it's a good way to do things. Good way to kind of check your answers or to give yourself a rough idea if you haven't got time to work it out properly. Finally, this time we're going to be rounding to the thousands column, okay? But we're still estimating. So this is where I'm rounding to. So this is going to tell me which I'm rounding. So I'm either rounding down to 2,000 or I'm going up to 3,000. Now 7 is above 5, so I must be going up to the 3,000. Yep. Then this one, I'm either going to be going down to the 1,000 or up to the 2,000. So let's check that number before it. Well, it's 2, so it's below 4, so I'll be rounding down to the 1,000. Final, second step, write in the number sentence. And then finally, 3,000 take away 1,000 would be 2,000. So there you go. As I said, estimating is a really important skill we might use when we're shopping. Lots of people use it, say, if they work in building or construction or things like that, because it's a good way to estimate how much of something you'll need. Really important skill that we actually use quite a lot. So good luck with this today, guys.